Hi, everybody. This is your host, Corey. Welcome back to Tinfoil and Tan Lines. Today, we've got Commander Davenport with us, who flew in to join the show. He's been blowing up on Instagram with millions of views every month. He's challenging everything we've been taught about the globe, breaking down what he believes are some of the biggest deceptions of our time, and presenting his perspective in a way that has people stopping, listening, and questioning everything. His ability to articulate his ideas and connect the dots is exactly why so many people are paying attention. As always, this is a casual and informative conversation. We're here to listen, stay curious, and give space to different perspectives, all while having a great time. And just a little warning, this episode may cause sudden urges to stare at the horizon, question your textbooks, and send your childhood globe into retirement. This will be a part 1 of a 2-part series. Enjoy.
And I want to go on record and say the moon is self-illuminating. I get a lot of death threats over that. I get a lot of don't reproduce. I challenge someone to prove that the moon is illuminated by the sun. There's no evidence of that. If the moon is not visible on the new moon only happens, or you can only see a solar eclipse because of a new moon, what is crossing over the path of the sun?
Oh.
Because the moon's not there. I've already concluded that 10 years ago. It's not there. There is no moon in the sky. I challenge anybody. I don't care if you're a quartermaster on a submarine. I don't care if you're a master ace sniper. I don't care. You do not take into account the curve of the Earth,
Nope.
the rotation of the Earth, because you will miss. Oh, I got threatened this morning.
Did you?
Tell us about
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's amazing. I think it's amazing.
Let's hear it.
Oh, I may have actually deleted it instantly. It was...
You didn't screenshot it first?
I might have. I get so many. Oh, here you go. Newsflash for you. Flat Earth is physically impossible. Do not reproduce. I feel bad for your family.
Classic.
That's an easy one.
Yeah.
That's like bot type stuff. The really personal ones are the ones that really make you laugh.
Yeah, there's some that are real below the belt. We've gotten them too. But yeah, flat Earth.
No, you're right.
I mean, this is your expertise. I mean, we love this topic. It's actually one of my personal favorites as well. But we haven't had someone on that like knows the ins and outs of it. And yeah, we're just excited to dive into it with you and just glean from all of your knowledge and years of research. And yeah, if you want to take it away with who you are and how you got to become a flat earther.
Sure. My name is Commander Davenport, and I'm only on Instagram at CMDR Davenport. It all started in 2010. We're going to get dark here for a second, but that's how the story starts. My dad died in 2010, and he died of cancer. And I was young. I was 17, so I didn't have any say in his treatment, or I didn't have any knowledge regarding anything like that. I was just a knuckleheaded kid, pardon me. Sorry. I was just a knuckleheaded kid. So I didn't, the family took the reins on that. And I learned a lot from the way my dad was treated. And so right before he died, he had probably a month to live, and the doctors went and operated on him anyway. And just stole, like $400,000 or whatever. Huge amount of money for no reason. He was going to die. It's not even a question. And, I was an angry 17-year-old. I didn't really understand what was going on, but that kind of kickstarted the whole thing. And I was kind of into conspiracies then, but I watched an episode of Joe Rogan, who I don't fuck with, by the way. We can get to that, though. But he had some fella on talking about some magical herb called Ibogaine. This was way early on. This was before Joe Rogan was even gigantic, And so I was curious about it. Psychedelics are not my thing. It is considered a psychedelic. I wouldn't call it a drug at all, but it freed my mind in a way. Well, it actually, I watched a documentary called Cancer is Serious Business right after I did Ibogaine. That's where it all ties in. And I learned that cancer is not only, it's contained and easily cured, and it's just a giant enterprise. That's all it is. It's a huge business, and there's dozens of companies that get mega rich from keeping people sick. And you'll find that surface level research is the same companies that create the chemicals that make you sick are the same ones that create the medicine to treat them. And again, that's surface level stuff. That's not even conspiratorial. That's like normal stuff to us. But if you say that to, someone who's probably over 50, they'll be like, that's crazy. That's definitely where the journey started, was watching my dad die. And then I got more and more serious into stuff like David Icke. You guys know David Icke? You like David Icke?
Yep.
I got a bone to pick with him too, but we'll get to all that. David Icke, so I was reading his books as a young man. I was like 22, 23, 24. Have you ever heard of Michael Tessarian?
I don't think that I have.
No. He's big in the numerology stuff, and he has this whole series where he does the tarot cards, but like the deepest dive imaginable, not like TikTok stuff, but like very serious knowledge that goes back thousands of years. So I was into that, and I was into David Icke, and I was reading all his books. And that's where I started connecting the dots right there. And that's what I want to focus on during this talk, is connecting the dots. If we talk about 9/11, you have to talk about Big Pharma. If you talk about Big Pharma, you have to talk about Flat Earth. Why? If you talk about space, you have to talk about, the Rothschilds. Like, you have to talk about those things. And that's where people go wrong.
Yeah, on that note of having to talk about all of it, Callie and I, when we sit down, we always will have a topic that we're going to focus on, but we will go off rabbit holes talking about all those things. And what we always say, well, yeah, it's because it's all the same people doing these things. Like, they're controlling every single one of the industries, all the lies. So you're right. You do have to paint the big picture.
Well, they compartmentalize things, but it's also need-to-know basis. And how many people need to know? How smart is the average person?
Right.
They can't handle anything beyond go to work, go home, grab dinner, make sure the kid gets to bed.
A lot of it's like survival mode for a lot.
Precisely. They keep people in survival mode, and that's no big deal. And plus, maybe even more importantly, they don't care. They don't give a shit, So fooling people's easy. And COVID, I think, we can talk about COVID, right?
Yeah.
And COVID, I think, is the one that will make or break people. You either woke up from that or you didn't. And that's why, because that's not a conspiracy.
Correct.
It's way out in the open.
100%.
Same with the Epstein stuff, which I'm not crazy about talking about. We can, but it's just so dumb. Like David Icke, he's been writing about Epstein and Prince Andrew of Wales since the 80s.
Right.
45 years ago. He's been calling out specifically the Queen, Prince Andrew of Wales, and saying, these people eat children. Like, it's in the books published in the 80s. This is not news. This is old school stuff. But now that it's confirmed, all of a sudden people are like, oh my God, did you see this? And I'm over here like, no shit.
Yeah.
This is not surprise.
Right.
The sky's blue. So David Icke, my bone to pick with him is he's getting old. All right. He's probably 78 years old or something. He's been publishing books for 45 years. So he has, 30 or 40 books that he's created a living on, and he's an expert in this and that. But I do want to say that I've learned more from David Icke about freedom. I've learned more from David Icke about freedom and being, I don't know, I guess spiritual, for lack of a better term, but letting go and realizing that you're going to face ridicule if you're doing the right thing. You're going to be met with ridicule and silence. You will lose family members. You will lose friends. It doesn't matter. Whatever it takes to not live your truth, but to live in the truth.
Yes. I love that.
So David Icke, I watched a live stream with him maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. I wasn't so much of a flat earth zealot at that time, but someone put him on the spot and they were like, is the earth flat? And he's like, he said a bunch of word salad. And I was just like, dude, dude, the evidence is overwhelming. You're the guy. Say yes, or at least say it's not a ball. I think that's more important than proving it's flat. Is coming to grips with the fact that it's not a spinning ball in space.
Right.
That's
ball. BAAL or BAL?
Yeah, that's right.
We'll get to that one. That's fun. Yeah, they got us worshiping ball. So I'm annoyed with David Icke, and he's created a giant business where he can't go back on it. And same with guys like Graham Hancock and Robert Bubal. You know who those guys are?
I don't think I know that. Nope.
Those are the guys who wrote a book. It's about this thick called The Pyramid Code. And they do a massively deep dive into the Great Pyramids. And Graham Hancock has, he's climbed the pyramids a million times. He signed the top of them. His great grandpa climbed them in like the 1800s. Like he's deep in that world. And he's one of those guys who's in his, maybe mid 70s, and he's created this giant business where he can't go back on it. And it's like, dude, you stare at the stars for a living. You know what's going on. Just say it. But he can't.
Maybe deathbed confessional.
Yeah, he might.
Yeah.
Okay, was that Werner von Braun on his tombstone? Psalms 91.
God showeth his handiwork on the firmament.
That's right.
And that's what he was obsessed with, Werner von Braun. He was saying that even when he was a young man. I think he was probably in his mid to late 20s when he was recruited by, I don't know the name of the space program, but the Nazi space program. And he was, not only was he an insane Christian, but he was obsessed with cracking the firmament at whatever cost, even if it cost humanity everything.
So are we talking like Operation Fishbowl? Yeah.
Yeah, Operation Fishbowl. And now is Fishbowl the one where they were sending high explosives? Right.
After Admiral Byrd came out of Antarctica.
Oh, fun.
And they pulled out.
That's one of my favorite things is Admiral Byrd. That's the one where people hate that because this is a
decorated,
super high-ranking military man, lifetime military man. West Point, I think, officer school. Like, this is not some guy who was in a trench. This is a high-ranking guy, round table, top brass. They chose him specifically because he could keep his fucking mouth shut. That's why they chose him. And he took an elite group, a huge group of people down there. And the word is Admiral Byrd found an entrance into a hollow earth, or perhaps some advanced crystalline, civilization. And he was, what do they call it? They put the muzzle on him.
Sure. Silenced.
He was silenced. He was
canceled.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's put terms on it. He was canceled hard in the 40s. And they were like, you have to sign this or we're going to whack you, basically. And we'll kill your whole family because you can't say these things. It's for the safety of the nation, And Admiral Byrd
Everything's always under the umbrella. It's for your safety.
Yeah. Safety over freedom.
Yeah.
And they're going to force it. It's coming.
Yeah. So with his Admiral Byrd, if I remember correctly, I believe he went to the North Pole first, which is where he found what you were just saying, like the entrance to inner Earth. And then he claims when they were down in Antarctica, beyond Antarctica, there were warm lakes and rivers and greenery. There was more beyond the
land.
quote unquote ice wall, if that's what it is. So he claimed a lot of things. And then he also said he met another race of beings.
Yes. And he also said he traveled an ice wall to his right for, I think, tens of thousands of miles.
Wow.
I'm dubious of the ice wall. I'll say that. I'm definitely, you could call me a flat earth guy, but I'm dubious of the ice wall and I'm dubious of the firmament. They both explain a lot of things, but I've never seen a lot of evidence for either of them. And I think that's where the average flat earther might lose faith in that moment and say, well, then what's going on? But as far as the ice wall, yeah, you took a picture, you took a video of a 60-foot high wall of ice. Cool.
Right. Fair enough.
That could be in Iceland. That could be in Greenland. That could be in Nova Scotia. That could be anywhere, That could be in northern Russia. And it's just, the absolute proof would be, I would have to go there. Or like I said yesterday or 2 days ago.
They won't let you.
Well,
they'll let you see some of it, but
yeah, they'll let you go down there. You got to plan it 3-4 months in advance. You can go and take pictures with some penguins, and then you are out.
yeah.
Also, penguins. Can we talk about penguins for a second? Are penguins real or modified or what?
Like the panda?
Yes, like the panda. Have you seen that where they talk about how the penguin isn't real? It's basically like this animal that they've created in a laboratory, and how like it wears like it has like a tuxedo on, and it's guarding. Like it's always like, you can't go there because we have to protect the penguins.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's fun. I have never heard
So
that.
I know it's new. I haven't either. But
Yeah, this is a new one for us.
Yeah.
We can speculate on that.
Sure.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's create a cute little animal that no one wants to fuck
In a
with.
tux.
In a
In a
tuxedo.
little- yeah, he's like a secret agent.
Uh-huh.
And he's...
It's a little earpiece.
yeah. They're back.
Yeah.
Flat earthers are back. I believe it. I have seen some panda stuff. I saw some Owen Benjamin stuff.
He's the best.
Yeah, he's shout out to Owen Benjamin. Hopefully you see this. He's the first guy I saw talk about the panda stuff. I never thought about it. I don't care, but
Right.
it's definitely interesting.
It
It's
is.
just weird. I mean,
It is weird.
it's like the platypus or, I don't know. It's
Yeah,
a
just
weird
bizarre
animal.
animals.
Yeah.
Well, he makes a lot of good points, and it's hilarious when he talks about it. Also, have you seen the compilations of him becoming a flat earther? And how he
No.
was like wrestling with it, and he would come on and he would do like lives and talk about it. And there's a compilation of like where he started to where he's at now.
How long
just-
was the transformation?
I think like a few months or maybe longer.
Recent?
It's hilarious. No, it's several years ago. But if you
okay.
look up like Owen Benjamin compilation Flat Earth and just see like what his mind, you just watch the gears turn over time, and then how he gets to where he is. And he was so resistant, like he did not want to believe it, like at all. So he was fighting it. So it's just neat to see his the evolution of how he got to where he is. But
I understand why someone would fight it. It's social suicide.
oh yeah,
It makes you look like a kook. I think other flat earthers look like kooks.
I agree.
And I'm the biggest one.
Yeah.
So when I see people talking about it, I still go, you know why? That's what programming is.
Mm-hmm.
That's what indoctrination is. And
Yeah.
when I was on that plane yesterday, I was seriously fucking wrestling with myself. I was like, that's not a curve. It can't be. It can't be. Is it? Why do I think it's a ball still in my heart sometimes? The indoctrination is very real. It's generational.
Yeah.
It's in our DNA to not believe flat earthers and to not believe people who say wild things that are
Oh yeah.
It is wild.
not acceptable.
Flat Earth, I mean, because the globe model, like, it's not that old. It's
Mhm.
It's
relatively
newer.
new, like, compared to how long ancient civilizations have believed that it was flat and we had a firmament, and you know what I mean? And it's just like, well, in my mind, a lot of them are way more advanced than we are. So why would they be wrong? They were the ones that were studying the stars. Like, show me one person in our generation just off the street who goes out and like literally studies the stars. I know there's people that do that, but as much as they did, where they're tracking the stars every single night, they had viewing pools, they had, rocks that they look through, and like they would see the North Star. Polaris was always through it. What was it? The Georgia Stones?
The Guidestones.
Yes, I think they destroyed them.
Yeah, they did.
But it's just like, again, it's like things like that. It's like if we are hurling through space and we're spinning, why is the North Star always through that viewing hole, right? Like that doesn't make sense. Like we would have to be expanding and moving, and everything would have to literally just be moving the same. And that's not how it works if they're in theory.
The astronomers of the ancient days were they were in the elite class.
Mm-hmm.
They were next to the kings.
Yeah.
They weren't peasants, and they were protected like priests. And they were so special that they didn't go out during the day to keep their pupils huge.
I did
so
not
they
know
could
that.
see the stars
Like
better.
nocturnal animals?
They were nocturnal, and that's why
Okay.
they lived underground and everything, and they would only come out at night.
I didn't know that.
So that they were
Okay.
holy, basically, because they could predict the future, or they could tell you what's coming.
Mm-hmm.
They knew the dates.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else was busy. They knew the date.
Yeah.
They knew when the solstice was coming, when the eclipse was coming. They were the ones who were predicting that stuff. So everyone listened to them. And ancient cultures relied very heavily, entirely on the stars.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they went crazy designing their, entire culture
Right.
after all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they've been the same ever since. Constellations, everything's been the same.
They never changed.
It's never
Right.
changed.
They're
And that
not
makes
expanding. They're not distorting.
no. If we were spinning on an axis, traveling around the sun, and then the sun. Yeah, give us an example of this. 1,000 miles per hour. Come on.
Deeply stupid. Okay, here we go. All right, so there's a minimum of 4 motions. I wanted to do this anyway because I wanted to give in my eyes, this is the one that solidified flat Earth for me. It's absolute proof. Maybe I can stand up and do it, but there's 4 motions. Earth rotating, creating the days. Earth rotating around the sun, creating the years. And then the solar system rotating at ungodly speeds. And then the galaxy rotating.
Mm-hmm.
And then the galaxy hurling through a void at endless speeds.
Yep.
Millions and millions and millions, possibly billions of miles an hour. Yet, the stars are exactly the same. And it's so convenient that, don't worry about it, girls. It's just too far away. You wouldn't get it. That's just, it's too convenient.
It is too convenient.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so big to understand.
Okay.
Like, space is ever expanding. And isn't it funny how they throw in, like, light years away? Like, how would you
Light
know?
years,
You know
sure.
how far that is?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Okay.
Anyway, make sure you pay your taxes, get back to work.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Uh-huh.
But, okay, so since we're talking about the rotation and all of the things, I thought this was interesting. So, 6 times 60 times 6 for the diameter of the moon, 6 times 60 times 666 for the distance to the moon, 6 times 6 times 6066, again, that's the distance to the moon, 6 times 6 times 666 for the circumference of the Earth, 0.66 feet per mile squared for the non-existent Earth curvature that doesn't exist over any body of water. And then we also go around the sun at 66,600 miles per hour. And the north and south poles are at 66.6 degrees.
Yes, the Earth.
And you got
Yes, it
gravity in 1666. So I just think it's so interesting that we have all these numbers. But again, like, let's think about it statistically. Like, statistically, how, like, these numbers being 6s, all 6s like that, like, statistically, I don't even think that that's a possibility.
I think you need to get back to work and forget about it. That's what I think.
Stop asking questions.
You need to stop.
But I'm just saying, like, it is almost just like,
They're telling us.
Yeah, you stack it like quarters up to the moon and 1 quarter in the state of Texas or something crazy like that is the possibilities of it being that.
Right. Yeah.
It's probably even more than that because it's all 6s.
Yeah, that's wild. It's like their fingerprint, It's like the Illuminati. They always leave their symbols and numerology all over everything. And with Flat Earth, it's like, it's all the same, even in their like logos, like NASA, for example. Looking like the forked snake tongue coming through. And then the word NASA, supposedly, it sounds very similar to Nashah, which in Hebrew means to deceive, beguile. It's literally the word that's used when Eve was beguiled in Nashah by the devil.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And also, you've probably seen this, but like the Space Force hat, if you turn it upside down, it's literally
it's a goat with a star.
Goat.
Baphomet. So anyways, I just think, again, symbolism, it's everywhere. But again, the numbers, I just think numbers are so interesting.
Yeah.
So.
I think it was Confucius who said, the peasants must never learn how to read the language of symbols. And that's because he was obviously in the club,
Right.
Anyone you hear about hundreds of years later is in the club.
Right.
Or you just get wiped off.
Yeah.
Wiped out of history. But he said something like that. And I think the high-ranking secret societies also adopted the same thing. Like, you cannot ever let the peasants, us, you can never let the peasants understand what we're doing, but we speak in code to each other. So as far as all the 6s, I'm not a numerology master, but it's obviously not a coincidence. It's too silly. It can't be.
Well, it's
not
just
even a
too
question.
many. Like, it's just too repeatedly. It's just, it shows up way too much for it to be
100%.
anything other than just
It's intentional.
Intentional.
It's intentional, and it's all that Isaac Newton shit. Do you guys know about Isaac Newton?
Oh yeah, how the apple fell on his head in
gravity.
66.
Gravity. Oh,
That's
God,
okay. Let's talk about this for 1 second. Is that not the goofiest story ever? He was sitting under a tree and an apple in the head, and
that's for kids.
It is for kids.
The real man, I have one of his books. What's it called? It's literally this thick. It's called The Essence of Gravity, or the Theory of Relativity, and it's a couple of his books in a
series
in the same binder. And we were not taught anything about Isaac Newton. All we know is super brainiac, kind of goofy, probably a virgin, smart guy, gravity.
Right.
Make sure you go get a job. That's it. But what we weren't taught is that he was a magician, an occultist,
Freemason.
He was a master Freemason. He was also a necromancer. He was obsessed with raising the dead. He was obsessed with bringing dead bodies back to life, and he was obsessed with immortality and alchemy. So he was a master alchemist as well. So he was working tirelessly to turn things like lead and iron ore into gold.
Wow.
Which kind of goes along with what you were saying last night at dinner.
Colloidal gold.
I still don't know that word. What is it?
Colloidal.
Colloidal. Okay. So Isaac Newton is a magician. And he was, and to me, it's so obvious to me, but I often have to repeat all this. It's like, he was hired by the powers that be, call them what you want, the elites, whatever. He was hired by them because he was an absolute brainiac. He was a psychopath, and not so. He was a
most
psychopath.
Most of them are.
You have to be.
Like Michelangelo was like filleting bodies.
Oh, yeah.
To see what the muscle looked like underneath.
Insane people. But that doesn't make, high IQ, but that doesn't make their divine knowingness any higher. IQ is nothing compared to knowingness and awareness. And so I would say he was highly autistic, and he was obsessive. And so they hired this maniac to create impossible equations that 3 people on Earth can understand. That's why you can't question gravity. You think you're smarter than Isaac Newton?
Oh, yeah.
You think you're fucking,
exactly.
You know what I mean?
It's like you can't question a vaccine or a drug because I don't have a doctorate. Yeah.
But Bill Gates isn't a doctor either.
Yeah, exactly. So... Why are we getting medical advice from someone that's a computer nerd?
Bill Gates. Oh my God. There's a video of him from the 90s, I think, getting smashed in the face with a pie. Have you seen that one?
No.
Yeah, someone yelled at him and
this.
whacked him in the face with a pie, and he was like, a nerd with his glasses all covered. He was like, that's one of my favorite videos of all time, is him getting pied.
Someone needs to do this again.
Oh my God. Sometimes I have fantasies about seeing one of those. Sometimes they try and act normal, like waiting in line at a coffee place or whatever, and I'm like, sometimes I think about it. What would I actually do? I can't hurt the guy and get arrested, but I could spill a little coffee on him or something, or yell something. Something.
Yeah.
I got to just let him know. But back to Isaac Newton real quick. They hired a maniac to create equations for gravity that no one else can understand. And then they formulated this entire story behind who he is. And they left out the parts where he was obsessed with immortality, and he was drinking blood, and he was trying to raise the dead, and he would, pick bodies apart while people were alive and put them back together. And no one knows this stuff. So it's like, look at this guy that you trust with your entire frame of reality. You're entrusting with this guy.
That's crazy.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Well, even like Einstein, like things about him have been coming out where it's like,
he
was like he worked for the post office, I think, when they found him.
And then the Nazis came and he turned his family in. He abandoned his family and escaped. And then he was a brainiac. And then we took him on. And the theory is that we hired him to disprove ether, which is the 5th element.
Yep.
Which could be what the moon is made of, could be what the sun is made of. Could be the energy that we're breathing right now.
Well, it's like the old, like the Antiquitech, like the old antique buildings with all of the, the cathodes and the antennas. It's like, it seems to be that they were harnessing energy from the ether, and they actually had electricity back then, but it was free.
Without
and then they destroyed it all.
So evidently that's what the world wars were about too.
I know. They went and blew up a bunch of stuff.
Cities like Dresden.
Right.
So I lived right outside of Dresden for a little while in a little place called Markneukirchen. And when I would visit Dresden, I would always look at it and I would be like, it's still very ancient. There's still things that are up, but for the most part, it was leveled completely. It was firebombed and carpet bombed into oblivion. And it was for that very reason, because it was too beautiful. It was too revealing. They can't let people know what was old cities like Munich and Paris, obviously, and Dresden and London. We have to bomb them into oblivion. We cannot let these people know. Even places like St. Petersburg, Russia, which is formerly Leningrad, which is right next to Sweden and Norway, and they bombed the ever-living Christ out of that because that was like the gateway to the north. That was the last big city before the north was Leningrad. So back to Einstein, another nerd who annoys me, and because
Sorry, I tried to laugh.
because we're forced to. I'm just tired of these people.
It's good.
They tell me to like trust these people, and I'm like, this guy turned his family into the Nazis.
Right.
I don't want to trust him. I'm judging his character. I don't care about his equations. I'm judging his character. I don't trust this fella here, and he's a super nerd, and he wears flip flops and high shorts. And I don't trust him, and I hate his style. It's true. I don't like him like that.
Based on how you're dressed,
exactly.
I don't trust you.
Yeah,
That's a valid reason.
That's accurate.
That's
That's a clue. Well, don't you trust me right now?
100%. Anything you say, I'll believe.
So perhaps Einstein was recruited to be one of those guys who says, I already figured it out. Don't worry about it. We got space. You make sure you be a mechanic and a plumber, but we got space. You, plumbing, me, reality, and that's the thing that I really want to shatter is I don't trust these fucking people that they tell me to trust because I know you're lying to me. I know you are. And if COVID didn't do it, if the Epstein stuff didn't do it, which I'm not crazy about talking about that. It's just it's old news. I think it's boring personally. Obviously I feel it's the worst thing imaginable. And that's not why I don't like talking about it, but it's just like, what the fuck are you going to do about it?
That's where I'm at.
Why
it's
are
like
you talking about
everyone's talking about it and it doesn't seem like anything's getting done.
Shut up. Either walk the talk or shut the fuck up. Seriously. Like, I'm tired of hearing about it.
Yeah.
All the evidence is there. In fact, they threw it in your face and then kicked dirt all over your face.
Yep.
And said taxes right now.
Yeah. And
Now
that's the
what?
thing. People say, oh, things are getting worse. But no, things are just getting revealed.
Yeah.
This stuff has been going on since the beginning of time. All these rituals, like you were saying, Isaac Newton, like doing necromancy and stuff and drinking blood. I mean, that's in the Hillary Clinton emails. Like that stuff's still going on today. And people just need to wake up to know that. And then, but to your point with Epstein's files, like, okay, now that some people do know it, it's like, then what? We all still get up in the morning to go to our jobs, like you said, pay our taxes, and we just go about. And it's like worse now, though. It's like, and knowing that everyone knows and nothing's changed, it's disheartening. It's discouraging.
Even less changed than with COVID, which was the ultimate obvious thing, like from day one. And one of my conspiracy buddies, who I'm actually not friends anymore, with, not that that's relevant to the story, I guess. He asked me, he said, is this the hill to die on? Like if, this was a serious conversation right in the beginning. They were like, and he asked me, he's like, if the military comes to the door, is this the one where you fight?
Right.
I said, dude, one, that's up to you. No one's going to fire the first shot. It's going to be, it's going to be house to house basis. I understand this is a touchy subject, but he asked me, and I said, I don't know if this is the global. Ooh, I just said the word. I catch myself dumbing myself down. I don't know if this is the worldwide revolution, turning point, but I know that obviously the vaccine is stupid. Do not do that. That is the hill to die on. There's a way. You'll survive. There's a way.
Right.
Yep.
There's a way to make a little bit of money to survive the next couple of years. You'll figure it out, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a little different because it's like you're injecting something into your body that's potentially going to cause, heart attacks or autoimmune or who knows what. They don't even know. They're still testing this out, right? And so it's like that's different because it's like if the earth is flat or if it is round, at the end of the day, like you're not going to die not having the right answer, right? Even if you believe one way or another. But whereas like you're doing something to your body and you're like, this is actually going to physically harm me.
Or your children.
Or my children.
Mhm.
Like this
Yeah.
absolutely is something
Which is
that we're
even
going to stand
scarier.
against.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing it to your kids because
Oh,
you're
yeah.
their protector.
Yeah.
You're
And
the
if-
first line of defense.
Yeah, and if you make a bad choice, that's on you for
Yep.
the kids,
Mhm.
you know?
Yep.
And it's also deeply spiritual. You're bloodletting to an unknown entity, and you're
Mhm.
letting in weird lab grade shit
Yeah.
that no
Yeah.
one knows any. It's all just coming out.
Nanotech.
Yeah, I used
All
to have
the-
a meme on my phone, and it was one of the best memes I've ever seen. It was something along the lines of there was the date of an eclipse, which, forgive me, I don't remember the exact dates. It was December 2016, something along those lines. And then they released the shot years later. And then 2 or 3 years later, the next solar eclipse. And they released the shot on the exact midpoint between the two solar eclipses, the exact day.
Gotcha.
And it's just like, okay, there's things at work here that we do
Mm.
not understand.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, for sure.
They're doing rituals, they're speaking in symbols, and we are not told, and we don't understand, and we're not allowed to know.
Mhm.
And yeah, that was one of the best ones I had. I just deleted it the other day, which is stupid, but I should have had it. And yeah, it just goes to show you that they're up to something way behind the scenes, and they're shooting people up. And I heard that 5.5 billion people got that shit.
5.5 billion?
5.5 billion.
Wow.
That's just about everybody.
That is just about
That's
everybody.
everybody with the internet.
Wow.
You know, there's people in Africa and China and Russia who are, still
Yeah.
living the good life, I would say.
Yeah.
They might be financially peasants,
Sure,
but
sure.
they're not getting whacked with Bill Gates concoctions.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sad.
I got a DM last night from this woman in Australia. I get so many DMs from Australian people.
We
and
have a
New
couple
Zealand
too.
people.
Uh-huh.
There's a reason for that.
Yes,
Is
there
it
is.
because they're like, we're not
They're
upside down,
suppressed.
guys?
Well, they're suppressed.
Yeah.
Are
It's
they?
sad. Oh, yeah.
Mm.
because
Uh-huh.
they got fucking imprisoned during COVID.
I remember
They
that.
actually got door to door kicked in. You're going in a cube. Like
Mhm.
they legitimately. So the ones who stood up and said we're not wearing masks, they were legitimately ostracized from society.
Yeah. And they have no guns either. So,
They have no form of protection.
Mhm.
It's probably illegal to carry a fucking pocket knife. I don't know, but
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Go find a kangaroo. They punch and kick.
Poisonous snake.
They have a 6-pack.
yeah, the DM from the woman from Australia, she asked how I was able to evade the shot because that's unimaginable to them down there. They were literally imprisoned. Get it? Then you can be released from prison.
Awful. Wow.
There's nothing more terrifying. That's right out of 1984 without a question.
100%.
That's blueprint.
And if people can hear that and think they're really doing it for our own good and our own safety, I don't know what to tell you.
It's
You know what I
insane.
mean? Like, obviously, that's just sinister. I don't care if it
Yeah,
was a
it's-
vitamin K shot or
Yeah.
a vitamin C pill. Like,
Yeah, you
nothing should be forced on you.
You can't whack
like
people
that.
against their will.
Mhm.
It's insane.
Exactly.
But they don't have a constitution. Not like I'm some fucking America guy, but they don't have anything protecting them.
Right.
And so it's kind of a funny story how I was able to avoid the shot. So I came home from Europe in 2018, and I went to an expedited medic school, and I became a paramedic. This was before COVID even happened, so I didn't know that any of this was happening. It's just the universe just lined right up for me.
Mhm.
So she asked me how I was able to do it, and I said, actually, it's a good story. I was on the inside. And I said, I never got a test, never once. I was able to evade all that, and it's because I was a traveling paramedic on wind turbine farms and solar farms where they were
Oh, yeah.
constructing that stuff and hydro dams. And there was one phone call. My dispatcher called me and he said, hey man, how you doing? This COVID thing. I was traveling because of COVID, so obviously he didn't have to mention it. But he said, hey, the company's doing this thing. It's $500 extra incentive to get the COVID vaccine. Are you interested?
What?
I said, no, I'm not. And then there was a pause, and I said, is that going to affect my job? And he goes, not right now, no. And I said, okay, take care. I'll talk to you in a couple weeks. And he goes, okay, man, see ya. That was the only thing ever. And I remember it was on the company website. Employees get this much money to, they never pressured me though.
Wow,
good.
that is
them.
good.
Yeah, they were called Acadian Ambulance. They were cool.
Yeah.
I liked them. But they made a lot of medics serious money. And that's what COVID was, because big ambulance companies like Acadian and whatever the other one is, American Eagle or something like that. They were getting huge federal grants. So if the company didn't spend the federal grants, then they wouldn't get as much the next year. So they were just throwing money at us. Like if you went on a tour to North Dakota, a rotation, you were getting any car you wanted.
Wow.
At the end of it.
Wild.
Like you were signing up for those jobs because you wanted a flashy new car or a new work truck or whatever.
Right.
So people would go to North Dakota or go to Louisiana or go to Antioch, California, where there was a big water dam. And that's where I started. And as soon as you rotated out and you went home for a couple weeks, you went and got a new car, and then you'd show up to the next job with your brand new car. And then we all found out why we were making so much money, because it was all per diem. It wasn't taxed. They were literally like throwing money at you. This X amount to carry the laptop a day, X amount to make sure you got the med bag in your, extra amount to make sure you got the defib in the trunk of your work truck.
All the things you would already have anyways.
Yep. They were just making shit up and just throwing money around. And that shows, I'm not telling this story for no reason. It shows that the corporate greed is above all. You know, it never at any point had anything to do with safety. They were paying me ungodly amounts to literally, I wasn't even wearing a mask. Like it was a huge joke.
Yeah.
I was literally scanning people's foreheads.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was a huge joke. I would show up. I had 12 hours on, 12 hours off. And I was the first point of contact, first responder. So if someone did get hurt on the job, I'd be there. But those guys don't want to get hurt.
Right.
You know? They're making great money, don't get me wrong, but they want to not get banged up too, you know? So they're careful. There's knuckleheads, but I only ever dealt with one real emergency there. In like 2 or 3 years of being on the road. But yeah, the incentive, companies just ate that shit up, and it became way less about safety and protocol and COVID. And it just became more about make sure this money disappears correctly on paper because we all need new trucks. Yeah. Legitimately, that's what it was. That's my COVID of how I evaded the jab. And on the same subject of the jab, I might be convinced fully that, so way early on, I saw one meme that said, it was probably a joke. I thought it was a joke. And it was like a news article that said, I got the experimental vaccine and I don't feel God in my life anymore. That was the title. Wow. And I don't know if you guys
I don't think it was a joke. I thought it was real.
Probably.
I feel like it was definitely a spiritual attack on top of like a physical attack on your body.
Oh, 100% believe that.
That's a double prong right there.
Yeah. And I mean, I only say that because like when I got COVID, I literally said the same thing. Like
spiritual.
Yes. I literally was like, I feel like there's a wall. Like when I pray now, I'm like, I feel like I'm not connecting. I mean, it's like, I know God's still there, but it was just almost like, so I don't know.
Told your spiritual sense.
Yeah.
She was
and
sick
I
with
literally was having like thoughts, like almost suicidal thoughts. And I've never like been suicidal. So
the word is that COVID was them switching 5G on.
Is that what it was?
Bring your mic up here.
So yeah, just like thoughts of like, well, if you weren't alive, you wouldn't be in this pain, because I was in so much pain.
Oh, I remember the pain too. Like you just touched like the skin on my back and it hurt. Everything hurt. I've never been sick like that in my life. And then I lost so much hair, which was bizarre. You know, it's not a normal flu. Something like, and like to your point about 5G. So during that time when everyone's like locked in their houses, like I was out and about driving around. And I saw all the new 5G, like the black ones and the towers everywhere, everywhere. And then I was on our Next Door app with all the neighbors can talk in different neighborhoods. And I was reading how people were saying, like 11 o'clock at night, they heard noise and they look outside and there's workers putting these things up in the middle of the night all over. So, I mean, yeah, wouldn't surprise me. And then now if you get the jab and they turn these things on, like, are you a ticking time bomb? Like, not to like be fear mongering, but like, who knows?
I mean,
that's the thing.
Heavy
You just
metal,
don't know.
So it's basically
and
like
nanotech.
you're being microwaved.
Uh-huh.
You know, you put metal in the microwave. It's not a good reaction.
Not a good combo.
Have you seen the towers disguised as trees?
Oh yeah.
Love
terrible.
it.
Right? They're so obvious too.
It depends where you live. So here we have pine trees. But when we lived in Arizona, they were palm trees.
Very clever, very crafty.
So good.
I was in I was at my lake house in Fox Lake, and they had one. It was laugh out loud funny. It was like a tree wearing a disguise. Like so it was surrounded by real trees, and then you'd see that one and it was like it was hiding.
Yeah.
Like that.
Or like I have a mustache on, you know,
exactly. Or my glass. It's like Superman with the glasses. Like suddenly he's a different person.
Yeah.
It was incredibly embarrassing. And then you said they were banging and putting them up at weird
night.
times.
Weird times.
That's you have to sanction construction work at night. Like that's special detail. It's extremely dangerous to do. It's super high paying to be able to do that. I was not in construction, but I was the one looking over those guys. And well, I guess the first thing is they don't have an agenda. They want to go home like the rest of us. You know,
sure.
They're just
they're just doing their job.
And they're getting paid real well to do it, especially at night, because it's so incredibly dangerous. It's not illegal, obviously, but it raises the danger factor in a huge way.
Sure.
Strictly because you can't see.
Yeah,
right. That would make sense.
And it's more expensive because you got to run a bunch of lights.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have bathrooms.
Right.
You got to take breaks. You might be near a highway. There's got to be parking. It's 10 billion things, and it's super expensive to do.
Yeah.
So companies don't want to do that unless they're getting, drum roll please, federal
funding.
Grants. That's where it's all coming from.
Yep.
I don't think the workers have a sinister agenda. I think they're
agreed.
You know, they don't really care. And same thing with doctors. Like kind of circling back to the first story I told with my dad, how my dad died. I don't think the doctor was evil. I think he's an idiot. I think he's very stupid, and I think he saw, he had his eyes on that new Porsche. That's what I think.
Yeah, and they're incentivized by insurance companies too to have a certain rate of vaccinated patients, and if they don't meet that rate, that number, insane. They don't get those kickbacks.
Those people should be in prison.
Yeah,
it's fucking insane.
Yeah,
vaccines are. Yeah, that's. God, I remember back in the day, your boy Alex Jones. Obviously, I don't know. What do you guys think about Alex Jones?
I mean, I don't have a lot to say about him. We'll just put it at that.
How about you?
Yeah, I don't even know. If I saw his picture, I might know.
Alex Jones, the guy who talks like this.
Yeah, bald guy.
He's always like,
he's always shouting at the government.
He looks like he's gonna explode. You know who Alex Jones
I probably
is.
He looks like a tomato.
He does. He really does say he looks like he's gonna explode. Like he's like red in the face. Yeah, InfoWars, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Alex Jones. He was on some show. I think they were on mainstream TV. It was either the History Channel or the Discovery Channel, and he had some woman on who said, in 2018 or 19, there will be a virus and there's going to be a deadly vaccine. This was on TV.
What?
Like you can just YouTube this. And she called it 10 years. Just some woman. She goes, I worked in nanotech. I worked in vaccine research and development. This will be released on the public, and it is poison, and it is a control mechanism. And then 9-10 years later, it literally happened.
Wow.
Yeah, as far as Alex Jones, I don't know. I think he's one of those guys that he's like David Icke. It's more powerful to turn you into a kook than to eliminate you. You know?
That makes sense.
Because if you're a kook,
you're less credible.
So the things you say that are true are now false, and the things that you say are false. It's the fog of war. Like they don't destabilizing someone's character and their credibility is a weapon. It's a useful weapon.
Yeah.
Why eliminate the weapon when you can use the weapon? That's the way I look at it. And guys like Alex Jones, he's an idiot. I mean, say what you want about him, but he's going on Joe Rogan. He's getting wasted. He's screaming and shouting. It's like, dude, if you have a message to say, convey it clearly. You know, first of all, you're drinking in excess in public on the biggest platform in the world. Joe Rogan's, I think, by a long shot, the biggest platform in the world.
So. Yeah.
It overshadows every mainstream news, every podcast combined.
I've heard that, yeah.
It's millions a day, which is, a mainstream one like, I don't know, NBC or Fox News. I don't know anything about mainstream media, but I think they would get, a couple million, 2 or 3 million viewers on like a Thursday night or whatever. But no matter what Joe Rogan says, and people go on his show and they squander the opportunity. And it's so frustrating to watch people.
They could make a difference.
They could make a huge difference. They do have critical information.
Yeah.
Yet they go on his show. They bow to him. They suck his ass. It's just annoying. It's like one guy, there's a guy who goes on Joe Rogan called Brian Hubbard. And he's always yapping about Ibogaine. And I didn't do a deep dive into this guy, but I did about 40 minutes as I looked into this guy. And I'm just relating this to Joe Rogan, really. He has this incredible information, which is that Ibogaine can fix people overnight. It fixes, if it doesn't cure ailments, it can greatly aid things like depression, PTSD, anxiety, eating disorders. I've seen it tackle things that you would never even guess. All of a sudden, I don't hear fucking voices in my head anymore. I don't wake up and want to die anymore. It's a reset button somewhere in your heart. It just pushes like some heavy reset button. And this guy, Brian Hubbard, he's on Joe Rogan. He's on the biggest platform in the world. I want to jump through the screen. I want to strangle this fucking guy. I'm like, dude, you have the world listening and you're just going on and on about legislation and bills. You're stressing me out. Like, this is America. They're not going to let you cure diseases here, brother. It's time to wake up. If you want to help people with Ibogaine, get your fucking hands dirty. Go to Mexico. Go to Guatemala. Go to Costa Rica. Go to Canada if you're safer there, where it's legal and you can actually help people. I'm tired of this guy. I'm getting a little irritated right now because I just see this guy yapping about the American government. The American government knows what Ibogaine is. They've known for decades and decades. It was patented, I think, in the early 70s. And if that doesn't open your fucking eyes, they already know.
Wasn't cannabis patented back around that time too? Remember the
patented?
Well, yeah, just like I don't know if it was patented, but like there was the war on drugs. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
And they were trying to shut down cannabis because again, like cannabis, nicotine,
it can replace
all healing. Like they can be used for medicinal purposes. And
building materials.
Yeah.
And there's huge companies in building materials because building is, all the evil guys like BlackRock and then they use things like billions of tons of CO2. So there's so much money in building that growing farms for free of building material.
Yeah, because wasn't there a material that some guy went and made the exact the bricks in the pyramids? He recreated that. He created how they made those stones.
Really?
Yeah, like
the giant stones that they used.
Yeah, what they were made of, what they were composed of. So I think there were like 7 like ingredients that you mixed together, and it created these like super hard, super cheap to make bricks.
Are you implying that the pyramid stones were not quarried or hewn from rock, but that they were created and placed? Is that what you're implying?
Well, that's what he was talking about. I don't know. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I've never heard that before.
Okay, yeah. So
but,
I just
me
thought
a
it was
fool.
so interesting. So it's a building material. So I don't know.
Actually, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd never heard that before. We can speculate on that for a second, though.
I mean, if you think about, like, supposedly they made the bricks out of mud and straw and...
Yeah, that's stupid as fuck.
Yeah.
Well, the pyramids are definitely not that.
No,
Well,
and
they're
I don't know if it's all the pyramids, but it may just be... But he was talking about why one of the pyramids was stronger, and it was talking about how they used ash. They needed ash. So they burned down the, like, jungles and the forests around them to get the ash to mix into the sand and all the other things that were mixing into it. I'll just see if I can find it because I thought it was interesting. But basically, he was saying the very first pyramid was bigger and stronger, and then each, like, pyramid after is not as big and it's not as, like, strong because the materials were harder to get a hold of.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I believe anything.
So,
what did you have you heard how, like, they're going down underneath these pyramids and they're like they go way down into the earth, and like we're just seeing the top. It's almost like they're a tower with a pointed top.
oh.
So they go way down there.
Well, I did see they had, like, the coils underneath
Yeah.
for harvesting, again,
Energy.
probably from the ether.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the silliest things I heard was I was yapping to somebody about the pyramids, and they said, I don't understand why it's such a great feat. We could do that easily. I said, no, you can't.
Yeah.
You cannot do that today.
They
It's
still
not
don't
possible.
understand how they even did it.
There's so many stories surrounding, like, ancient stories surrounding it. Like, there could be a whole dedicated podcast to just the pyramids. But I think personally, and this is also what the fellas I was talking about earlier, Graham Hancock and Robert Bouval, they determined that the Sphinx is at least 12,500 years old. At least could be 300,000. Like, we just
we don't know.
don't know. And that it drives me nuts because you can't build these things today. You cannot do it. And if they really are that old and they were covered by the sands of time, because, you know, pretty much until Napoleon found it in the 1800s, the Sphinx was covered up to the neck. And I also saw...
Kind of like the Easter Head Islands.
Yeah, they have full bodies.
Oh, yeah. We'll get to that too. But the Sphinx is a curious one because... So an anomaly with it that Graham Hancock and Robert Bouval pointed out in that big thick book called The Pyramid Code I was talking about is we know that it's not the original face of the Sphinx. The Egyptians also mentioned that the Sphinx was there when they got there. So it's incredibly ancient, so much so that it's doubly ancient. Even to the people who we accredit it to, they said it was there. So it's...
I believe that.
Yeah. It's incredibly ancient. And so we know that it's not the original head because they were master artists. They were mathematical geniuses, master astronomers. They knew what a lion looked like. The Sphinx has a straight back. It's actually a dog. It was Anubis.
I was going to say, guarding.
Yep.
Yeah.
Guarding the rising sun to the east on the equinox.
Okay. I was going to say, also, have you gone down the rabbit hole of the Grand Canyon, how it looks like there's a Sphinx also there? They had, like...
Oh, there is one.
Yeah.
And
Of course,
everything
I believe that.
in the Grand Canyon is named after Egyptian names. Everything.
I mean, everything in Arizona, even, like, you have Phoenix, you have, you know, like...
Yeah.
All of those things. There's a lot of, like, names that line up with Egypt. So.
Yeah. Yeah, and then there was the guys that went down into the Grand Canyon, and he ended up finding all these ancient artifacts that had Egyptian, like, hieroglyphs and things on that. And now you're banned from going to those areas.
Why would they
gold.
ban you, Corey?
For our safety.
Oh, it's for your safety, huh?
We're just looking out.
That's a curious subject. I'd like to see the hieroglyphs in America. You might sprain your ankle there, guy.
Exactly.
Okay, thanks.
But here's a mule. Take it down this
I'll
like
take
cliff
the
that takes you down
burrow.
to the burrow.
The little burrow.
Exactly.
Oh.
Yeah. It's said that technology in the private sector is at least 5 decades ahead of technology in the public sector.
Believe it.
Things like AI, they've been messing with AI for fucking decades. They just released it to the peasants 3 years ago.
Yeah.
That shit was mastered.
I think a lot of our history books that we even grew up learning was written by AI.
Oh,
I think it was.
I believe that. I never even really thought of that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Someone
Never
dives into it.
crossed
Have
my
you ever heard of, have you watched My Lunch Break on YouTube? So he goes into like the resets and how America, like how you were saying earlier, how they bombed all of these cities. They also did it in America too with the Great Fires, right? But
In
they're really
Chicago.
just bombs.
Yeah.
And
all over.
All over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they were just trying to destroy even our own history in North America is not what it is. So, but he was showing how he's noticed pattern recognition of the same names of people they'll use throughout all these different stories at different times, like AI would. Things like that. And certain verbiage, they would use the same thing over and over again in these old articles and textbooks and things like that. So it's interesting to think about. But if AI's been around, like you said, for possibly 50 years, 40 years, whatever it is, then yeah, why wouldn't they use it to write our curriculum?
That's scary.
It is scary.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
That makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah.
It's like everything your teacher repeated to you was like, for lack of a better term, demonic. It was like a weird demonic technological
deception
lie.
is demonic.
Yeah.
You know, truth is godly.
Yeah.
Lies and deception is demonic.
It is.
That's what this all comes down to. Like it is like it's all spiritual, like you were saying before. When it comes down to a shot like that, like that's all spiritually driven.
Yeah.
And like with like cosmology too. I mean, people. One of the main questions I think you probably get asked: why would they lie about the Earth?
That's my favorite question.
Do you want to answer it?
It's my favorite one. Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
There's a reason it's my favorite one. It's because it opens the door to endless speculation. And I want to start it with there's never one reason for anything. Why did they bring down the Twin Towers? Do you have 15 years to sit down with me? Like, why do they lie about vaccines? What's the point of COVID? You want me to answer that in an Instagram comment?
Right.
No, it's not possible. Why lie about the flat Earth? The number one dot to connect, and every single subject we've talked about so far is connected to flat Earth. The pyramids, COVID, government, elite, numerology, symbolism. It's all connected to flat Earth. Flat Earth is the umbrella lie that they all fit under because it's not about the shape of the Earth. It's about the nature of reality and who we are. And it's also, when I say that sentence, it's also connected to David Icke. He's all about remember who you are. That's like his tagline. And it relates to flat Earth because you are not, and don't make me mention Charles Darwin, I swear to God. We are not a product of evolution. That's insanely low IQ, low discernment. It's not observable science. Although I will say, species don't change into other species, but if I went to Siberia, where there's harsh wind, harsh snow, harsh sun in 3 or 4 generations, and I had a wife and kids, and we had kids in Siberia, over 4 generations, our children would develop epicanthal folds. They would look more Asian to protect from
their eyes.
To protect
I've
from
heard that.
Right.
the constant the sun coming from the snow,
Sure.
the wind.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think that's true, that we could develop, it's essentially body armor, to protect us from things like that.
But that's also just like your teeth can change. You're not eating you're not eating
Changes the
hard, things. You're not chewing hard things. So your palate gets narrower. You know what I mean? Like,
I think people in Africa too.
Yeah.
They're meant for the sun.
Yeah. So it's just kind of like you adapt, I think, to your environment, but you're not changing what you are. You're still a human.
You're still a
being.
human. And in Africa, that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Their skin is sun retardant, basically. It doesn't absorb sunlight because it's dark. And they're also extremely athletic and good at running. You know why? So they can eat.
Yeah.
They chase their food.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
They have to be able to move quickly.
Yeah.
There's no fat people over there.
Yeah. No.
But human beings adapt. You adapt to your circumstances. You adapt. Like if you were to just sit on your couch all day long and eat nothing but garbage, your body's going to adapt to that environment and you're going to gain weight. You're going to be unhealthy. You know what I mean? So it's like it goes both ways. But as far as like your skin changing, like your eyes changing, that kind of thing, that's a little more, I guess, body armor-ish is what you were calling it. But just I think that's...
But that's... Yeah,
you're still a human.
Right, exactly. It's totally different than being
you don't turn into a bat.
A toad into a... Yeah, exactly. A monkey and then...
They
Yeah.
also say that, like, in the ocean, you want to evolve as little as possible because if you change from what you are, let's say, like, you're a whale, whales have not changed because if they change, like, their chances of survival decreases drastically of living because it's like you know what I mean? So,
Well, yeah, the whole thing just doesn't make any sense.
yeah. So they say that, like, yeah, you want to not change or evolve because you will not live. Your species will become extinct, essentially, is what they were saying. So
That
Yeah.
directly goes against evolution. I want to get the quote right. Charles Darwin said, "To suppose that the human eye could be formed from natural selection is, I freely admit, absurd in the highest possible degree." And what he meant was, your eye is so profoundly advanced, it absolutely cannot happen on accident.
Right.
It looks like little fingers. Have you seen that where they
It's the
It
little
does.
fingers. There's crystals in it.
Yep.
There's like
everything?
mirrors and all kinds of
Okay.
light reflecting all in it. It's
Okay, since we're talking about an eye, I've got to like bring this up to you because I came across this and I thought it was wild. Okay, so we're talking about the shape of the earth. Somebody proposed, like, what if the shape of the earth is actually more like an eyeball? And last night we were talking about the bean in Chicago, how they have the this picture.
The cloud.
It's called the Cloud Gate.
Yep.
And the Cloud Gate's weird too because it's like it's 33 feet high and it measures 66 feet long. Like,
Of course
so
it does.
again, it's just
I
like,
didn't even know that.
yeah. But if you look at it, it looks like an eye.
Reflective eye.
Well, even just like
I can see that.
the
Right, the
eye.
shape. Mhm.
This is like the pupil. So let's look at like a flat earth. Like, this is like a biblical cosmology flat earth. But look, you've got the lens, you've got the pupil.
Yeah.
So again, it's like human body parts are also like reflected throughout nature. Like, there's that mushroom that looks like an ear. There's like caves that literally look like the inside of like your bones.
Sure.
Like with the crystals and stuff that grow and how they grow, which I think that's interesting too, because I'm like, that could be a giant
remain.
Yeah, but that's like for another day. But anyway, so I just thought that was so interesting.
That is.
What are your thoughts on that? Of it being like an eye?
Let me try and connect
I mean, I can see
that
it.
to the why,
Okay.
because we're flying all over, which I love. Obviously, symbolism and numerology is all mixed up in there. Why call it the cloud? What? Because it's fun and puffy like a cloud in the sky?
I don't know.
I don't
Again,
really buy
like the
that.
top. Okay, so my thoughts were like the firmament is where the clouds are. They're in the sky. So it's like,
And it's reflecting that. So it's like the sky of the.
and it's like
Structure.
the weird thing is like I was reading just like the description of it, and it's like we invite people to walk underneath it and to like see things distorted from the.
Some kind of weird.
Yeah, it's
portal.
bizarre.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So also just like I feel like they just tell you. They have to tell you. Again, kind of like why would you keep Ike around? Because it's like you were saying, it's like you keep him around because he is telling the truth. Like he's spreading the truth where it's like they have to disclose information.
Oh, that
They're
too.
doing it through him. You know what I mean? Maybe that's why. I don't know.
Yeah, he's a useful idiot. So back to the why. We'll get to the bean and the firmament,
Okay.
because we do have to talk about the firmament and all that kind of stuff and stars. But the why. I'm not religious. Flat Earth is the one where you have that intrinsic awakening of I'm here for a reason. I likely put myself here. I published a book in 2022 where I said, it actually, God, there's so much to talk about. It actually ties into the moon and everything and Ibogaine, but I said the only logical explanation after taking in all the facts is that you're here by your own doing. It's the only thing that makes sense, that you're not here on accident and that you put yourself here. I don't want to cheapen it and say it's because of to learn lessons. And if you don't learn lessons or if you commit suicide, you're going to come back.
Like reincarnation or something.
Yeah, and heaven and hell and all that kind of stuff. Reincarnation, that's a whole different subject. But one of the things that happens to most people on Ibogaine, we're going to tie it all in, is It happened to me too, and this was before I even knew it. This was 3 years before Flat Earth even was a blip on my radar. It showed, so you know how common NDEs, near-death experiences, everyone, or people say follow the white light.
Or they're like being pulled down somewhere fast.
That happens too.
I hope not. Not me. You guys, maybe. Not you, but them. Not me. I'm not getting pulled down. I'm escaping the Matrix. But the white light is the light of the moon. And what Ibogaine showed me and countless other people, because I'm there. I talk to the people when they come out of it. So we chop it up and I say, well, what did you see?
Yeah.
Did you talk to anybody? Any entities, any beings? That kind of thing. And time again, it comes up. I was on the moon. Souls were in line, and they were begging to come back down. So it's the regeneration machine, basically.
I've actually heard that before.
I can't prove it, but there's overwhelming accounts, including my own, including dozens and dozens of people who have no interest in Flat Earth. And this was way before Flat Earth was even a thing, before it got traction again on the internet. But they said they were up at the moon. There was no danger, no fear, no love, no hate, nothing. They were not a human. They were a point of perception, basically. And they were an observer. And they were watching as my friend Anthony, who said it best, this was almost 15 years ago. He said it was like they were little spermlings jumping up and down, waiting at gates, surrounded by white light.
Wow.
Which is the light of the moon. And they were begging to come back to Earth to play, basically.
Interesting.
And that's reflected time and time again in near-death experiences. Surrounded by light. They were met by a religious figure or deceased family members. They were met by all their ancestors. They said, do you want to go to the white light or do you want to go somewhere else? The white light meant another life here. Somewhere else meant somewhere else. But people who choose somewhere else don't come back. That's the
really
thing. Yeah. That's kind of the catch is, do you ascend or do
people so people on Ibogaine, obviously, like they're not really dead, they're just going through an experience, so they're coming back, but like, are they saying that that's where people are going that die and they're
before life,
now are they
afterlife?
stuck, so now they're stuck there, or they can
stuck's a weird term to use.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
They're waiting. Purgatory. They're
waiting for what?
To
just
play
to come
again.
back? Huh.
Or to come to Earth School again.
Like as another person?
Mm-hmm.
So like past lives and stuff like that. That's what we're
past
talking
lives, ancestors. That's why things like abortion are fundamentally evil. And I'm not religious at all.
Right. Oh, it is evil.
But you're killing somebody.
I don't think you have to be religious to know that that's wrong.
A lot of people on the internet jump to that, though.
Sure.
They think I'm, toting some story about some fella 9 million years ago. It has nothing to do with that. Because of what happened on Ibogaine, you can see that killing shit's wrong.
Sure.
And I'm not some Taoist monk in the hills. Like I'm not.
There's a time and a place where
there's a terrifying spider on your face, smash it. Seriously.
Or if you're exactly, or if you're hunting, you need to survive. Like you're going to kill an animal, or if you're being attacked, you might kill the perpetrator. Like that's fair enough.
Thou shalt not kill. It means thou shalt not murder.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't murder stuff. It's probably not good. But I'm not. I'm not God. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. But so I guess the moon is the regenerator of life, and the sun is the sustainer of life, and that's kind of it's the yin and the yang. That's what the yin and yang symbol is.
Yes, yes, it is. Interesting. And what is it? The Ouroboros, the infinity, and it's interesting. As if people have taken cameras in the same spot, and they'll take pictures of the moon, and over the course of a year, it creates that pattern in the sky.
Oh, it's an analemma. It's called.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah. It creates.
I was thinking of maybe the snake.
You were thinking of the serpent eating
the serpent.
Its own tail.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, that's heavy. That's deep on the symbolism.
Yeah,
because that goes into stuff like secret societies. I know a very high-ranking Freemason. He's 32nd degree, and 33rd degree is honorary. So that just comes with time and rank and status and enough donations to the club. But he wrote a paper about how Christianity, where do you guys stand with religion?
Christians.
Christian. Yeah.
You're both Christians.
Uh-huh.
So you believe in Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. He wrote a very interesting paper, I'll send it to you sometime, about how the story of Jesus Christ is an allegory for the body and how we're all Jesus Christ, basically. That's the thing about religion is you can take pieces from each one and use them to become a better person, you know? And when you read this paper, it's only 8 pages, but he relates all the things with Christianity to the human body and how the story of the ascension of Christ is, it's your story. It's your story. It's how you can become a better person, which isn't even really far out of line with what you think anyway, right?
Well, that's what I was thinking. I mean, that's kind of what it is.
That's
Like
kinda
we're
what it
we're
is.
in Christ, and He paid the price and freed us all. And we don't follow. I mean, the 10 Commandments too are Old Testament, so that became like null and void after Jesus died and rose again. We don't live under the 10 Commandments, but yes, when you follow someone that good and He's in you, you naturally want to live your life out in a good way. So you're not going to be doing those things. But we're not under a law anymore. He broke that. So now we are free to live and just be in Him and Him in us.
So does the Christianity play into the flat earth thing?
I think so.
Oh, big time, because in the Bible, it's a flat earth book over and over again. It says it's immovable.
It sure is. Did everyone hear that? Could you repeat that? If you're a Christian, I have a good story for you.
Yeah, no, flat earth is the Hebrew cosmology, which is the cosmology of the Bible. Mm-hmm.
When I lived in Texas on the tail end of 2022, I lived in Austin, Texas, and I was actually pretty much exiled from a group of Christians. I was trying Christianity out,
I'm sorry.
and
That sounds like a religious bunch.
They all pretty much
Yeah.
made fun of me for knowing that the earth was flat. And we all watched this incredibly stupid Dude Perfect thing.
Oh, yeah,
Where they-
those guys will like flip a water bottle a million times.
Yeah. It's the same thing as when Katy Perry went to space.
Right.
That
yeah.
level
Fair
of
enough.
stupidity.
Fair enough.
It was the same thing. It was they shot him up. Whoa!
Oh, in one of those planes, the
It's
zero gravity.
So embarrassing. And I was laughing at it. There was like 12 other people there. And then one of them turned to me and said, "Austin thinks the earth is flat." And everyone laughed at me. These were all adults.
I'm sorry. It's
We
rude.
were all adults.
Yeah.
And it's funny to see now that people are really making the connection between, it's almost like you're not a real Christian if you don't take the fucking book seriously. You're just picking and choosing.
Oh, they do. A lot of Christians do. Pick and choose.
But yeah, so we have a friend and she was saying like she was atheist for a long time and she got into flat earth and she was like, I believed fully the earth was flat. And it actually led me to the Bible being true. And so it's interesting because it's like, I think, whereas like you were saying that like the flat earth is under like an umbrella of all of these other things, right? Like we've talked about that too of like, literally if you go deep enough and you believe in like, I don't know if you've heard of like the Nephilim agenda or Genesis 6 conspiracy and things like that. But it literally all kind of ties together in that too. So that's super fascinating. And I think for me, that's kind of really what solidified like the earth is flat.
For sure.
Nephilim relating to flat earth, how?
So the Nephilim in Genesis 6, it talks about how the angels that were the watchers came down, had sex with the women, and produced the Nephilim, which were like the giants of old. So that's where like giants basically came from. And so everything can be traced back to that, like from Nimrod to Freemasonry, Solomon, like it all kind of follows that vein back to the fallen watchers. And also like it kind of even ties into like mermaids and half animal, half human hybrids.
All the cryptids.
They were genetically modifying things. They were mixing DNA, creating different species.
Which is why God had to flood the earth.
Right.
Because Noah and his family, they're the last full-bred humans. Like everyone else is tainted. And he waited till the last people were alive, and that's when he had to wipe everything out and reset.
I saw this crazy thing on Noah that he was raised in a cave. I don't know if this is in the Bible, but it was in the same vein as religion, but it was more like historical.
Sure.
And they were digging up historical documents and ancient stories, but it was about Noah. And it said he grew up in a cave. You weren't allowed to look upon him. He had green skin, and he lived to be 900 or so. something along those lines. I don't know if that's.
I knew he lived really long, but I've not heard. So, like a reptilian, is that what picture we're painting?
I actually don't think they were hinting at he was a reptile. I think they were hinting at he was something else. His eyes glowed. He had not green like scales, but it was glowing, like neon, like a glow stick, or like a star that you put on your ceiling.
Okay, I mean,
wow, interesting.
Moses' face was glowing, and he would have to like veil his face because
after he was in the presence of God,
people would be like freaked out by his face. So maybe it was
this was after he ran into God in the mountain.
That's
right?
after the burning bush. Yeah.
So I wonder if it's maybe something like that, like just
maybe he had an encounter. And
it's
then
like
he was glowing.
Transfiguration, is that what you would call it? Like where you're transformed into like something else?
Like Gandalf. Turn into Gandalf from gray to white, glowing. Yeah. That's interesting. I've never heard that about Noah.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Yeah, I don't remember where I saw that. It was a historical thing, though. It was like a story on how history intersects with the Bible and then veers off and then goes back in. Because that was where Noah grew up. Like, there was evidence there, and they spoke of a young boy literally named Noah, grew up in a cave. His mother had to protect him. Like, literally keep him under wraps. Because if you looked at him, you'd fucking scream.
Really?
Not because he was ugly, but because he was
glowing,
terrifying, and,
otherworldly.
There you go. He wasn't terrifying. He was, for lack of a better term, he was a freak.
Right.
There was something incredible about him.
Yeah.
So it's crazy that his story... And then his great-grandpa, right, who was Enoch. Is that right? His great-grandpa?
I think it was...
Grandpa?
Yeah, I think it was his grandfather. I don't know.
I think it was his great-grandpa.
Great-grandfather? Okay, I don't know.
But he was the one with the stories that they erased about him, and he was the one having, like, very serious, obvious encounters with otherworldly beings.
Yeah.
Beings coming down, and I think he was abducted as well. I don't really remember
could have been.
the Book of Enoch that well. I read it probably 10 years ago, and it was like a brutally rough translation from Greek or something. But, the Bible, it's definitely, even if you're not religious, like I'm not, it's still one of the most fascinating books ever because, one, it's all allegory, and you can use it as a tool to improve your life. But two, if you look at it through different lenses, like a flat earth lens or a spiritual lens, or an I want to be out in nature for 6 months without running water lens. Like, no matter how you look at it, it's still a useful thing, and it has its unbelievable stories of magic, just like all books do. The big three, they all share the same Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. They all share the same Holy Land. They all war over the same Holy Land. It's just very interesting. They all have a prophet who ascended and swore he'd come back. It's the same story over and over again. It's just very fascinating.